Hello, good afternoon. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We are on Love 99.5 FM affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Radio Freed in Nandom, Sky FM in Sunyai, Bishawa Radio in Tamale. We're also on Gangai FM in Jirapa and KTU Radio in Koforidua. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. We're on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duroplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duroplus goes, water flows. This afternoon, Minerals Commission and the Environmental Protection Agency should be held liable for the weekend's devastating explosion in the Western region that claimed 5 lives. That's the verdict of a leading member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament.
There is a case of enforcement failure, and the regulatory bodies themselves should be held responsible. The victims have a right to legal remedy. They can sue the regulatory bodies for negligence.
We have the latest from the explosion as the Western Regional Minister sets up a multidisciplinary committee to investigate the cause of the explosion while a frantic search for 3 Chinese nationals continues.
The Regional Minister is inaugurating a committee of inquiry. And so this involves a whole of agencies. And so it's a multi-agency kind of thing. So this committee's assignment is to investigate, find out the real cause.
Also in this package, Burkina Faso and Togo exporting Ghana's cocoa as intensified smuggling of the produce leaves the cocoa board with a loss of almost $600 million.
We had a drop of 85% of cocoa expected from that area. This is cocoa that we have invested a lot of money from June to today that we opened a new cocoa season.
But will the increase in the producer price of cocoa from 800 to 1,300 cedis help stem the tide?
What are they doing? To put up a better hospital within the cocoa catchment area so at the end of the day, when our wives are in labor, they can get a better place. And you are talking about 1,300. I think it is peanuts. Do not prevent the smugglers from smuggling their cocoa.
We have details and also hear from former President Mahama, who says the increment is woefully inadequate. Also, President Akufo-Addo slams former President John Mahama over his comment about packing the judiciary, describing it as irresponsible and an attack on the independence of the judiciary.
Who has told the world that I have packed the courts with so-called MPP judges. Not only are these concepts new, they are also extremely dangerous.
We have more from the ongoing 2023 Bar Conference, where the president has been touting his government's fight against corruption.
There are some who refuse to accept the proceeding and have characterized me as a clearing agent. Because for them, the mere allegation without more is enough to merit the nation of the public official.
We have sports.
Mixed fortunes for Team Ghana at the African Boxing Olympic qualifiers. We'll tell you more in 20 minutes.
And much later, multiple suits hit EC over limited voters registration with less than 24 hours to the exercise.
It's unheard of. And since when did the Chief Justice take over the basic responsibility of the registrar of the court? Because giving days for the hearing of matters is the duty of the registrar of the court.
That and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. More reasons why you ought to stay for the details. Many thanks for your company. We dig in now, and the Minerals Commission and the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, should be held liable for the massive explosion at Kobina Ando Chrome in the Western region that claimed 5 lives. Well, that's the verdict of a leading member of Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee, Dr. Kwabena Donko, because of their failure in executing their oversight responsibilities to ensure the safety of people and the environment. Well, this follows the Minerals Commission's admission that the company, STA at Sam's Enterprise, was operating illegally. A statement from the commission also revealed that the company worked at night to evade compliance with regulations. Let me bring in a member of the Mines and Energy Committee, Dr. Kwabena Donko. Many thanks for your company here on the Midday News. So from this particular explosion and where you sit from the committee level, I know you're on break, but what exactly are you picking up? For which reason you say that the Minerals Commission and the EPA should be held liable?
Well, the Minerals Commission and the EPA have responsibilities towards the environment. The Minerals Commission is the regulator of the mining sector, and mining includes quarrying. And so it has the basic responsibility to ensure a safe environment, a safe mining, a safe quarrying environment. And if an explosion of this nature has occurred, and taking from the statement from the Minerals Commission that their inspectors had previously gone there to ask them to warn them, then it is a serious enforcement failure. If you had warned them, or if you had had cause to warn them, it also means you ought to have kept an eye on them. And you are permitted by law to sanction. The Minerals Commission, as the regulator, has such enforcement powers conferred by an act of parliament. And therefore, if you have not executed your mandate to the letter and this catastrophe has happened, you bear responsibility for regulatory failure, enforcement failure. The EPA likewise has responsibility. And I believe it is high time we hold our regulatory bodies accountable for the powers vested in them by the Ghanaian state.
In this demand for accountability, really, what actions should be taken against these regulatory institutions then to serve as deterrent? Because beyond the public call, what happens?
Well, of course, the regulatory bodies have sector ministers. So the sector ministers must insist and apply the appropriate organizational sanctions. That is one. Two, the company that has direct responsibility, that has committed this illegality, that company should be tried in a court of competent jurisdiction, as well as the directors of that company. Again, the people of Shama can also take class action against the regulatory bodies. It is high time Ghanaians woke up and demanded accountability from regulatory bodies.
Okay, we're grateful for your time. That's Dr. Kwabena Donkor, a leading member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. Well, he's not alone in this demand that the regulatory bodies be held responsible for the explosion. MP for the area, Samuel Erickson Abaka, says he will back legal action against the institutions.
The institutions which ought to have ensured that unlicensed institutions do not complete, should be held liable for the undue hardship and loss to lives and property within the Shama constituency. We will follow to a letter whose negligence, failure to act overlooking critical schedules has led to this incident. Those people, once investigations bring out those involved, they would be laughing at the wrong side of their mouth.
Well, this afternoon we are learning that the regional minister is setting up a multidisciplinary committee to establish the cause of that particular explosion. Western Regional Fire Commander, Assistant Chief Fire Officer Grade 1, Frederick Oheming disclosed this. He has also been explaining their initial findings at the incident site.
The regional minister is inaugurating a committee of inquiry. And so this involves a whole of agencies. And so it's a multi-agency kind of thing. So this committee's assignment is to investigate, find out the real cause, and perhaps to make recommendations. The committee, I know, comprises of the police, the EPA, the Ghana National Fire Service, the NADMO, and a few of them. Most of the agencies that have something to do with kind of work that we're talking about. So yes, where the devastation was so much, just like in the case of the PT1 that occurred last year, a huge crater had been created where I believe the ammonium nitrate was stored. But the devastation is serious.
And the search for 3 Chinese nationals who have still not been found after the explosion is still on.
What yesterday were cautioned about was that, in fact, I wanted to use excavator to see if they could see some bodies buried in the rubble or something. But the EPA official cautioned that the little spark can even cause another explosion, because you could sense the chemical around. So they are going there to assess the scene with the equipment and check whether there are no remnants of the chemical. The tool has been raised to 5. Now the missing people are 3. The latest.
Now, Sir Frederick Oheming is the Western Regional Fire Commander, Assistant Chief Fire Officer as well. Now, let's turn our attention to some other stories. And the finances of Ghana Cocoa Board is in dire strain, requiring urgent surgery to revive the once vibrant entity. Joy News is learning Cocoa Board lost almost $600 million, representing 150,000 metric tons in the last crop season due to the smuggling of cocoa beans to neighboring Burkina Faso and Togo, which made them exporters of cocoa they don't produce. Minister of Food and Agriculture Brian Champon says the development has left many cocoa storage facilities empty.
I reported last time that because of pricing, we suffered smuggling on our eastern and western borders. Even our northern borders, we suffered cocoa smuggling. Burkina Faso does not produce any cocoa at all, not even one grain. Yet Burkina Faso was exporting cocoa. Togo does not produce cocoa. Togo is now exporting cocoa from the eastern corridor, all the way from the north to the south, that entire border and all the cocoa communities around there. During the main season, we had a drop of 85% of cocoa expected from that area. This is cocoa that we have invested a lot of money.
Well, to address the smuggling concerns, President Akufo-Addo over the weekend announced a new producer price, the highest in the sub-region so far.
A ton of cocoa is now going to be paid for at $1,821 per metric ton. These are prices that are the highest that have ever been paid in the history of our country and indeed within the West African cocoa growing area.
However, some cocoa farmers are not enthused about this new price. President of the Concerned Farmers Association, Obuadie Nanabuating-Bonsu, says the demand of farmers goes beyond money.
The intervention, the welfare and other things that cocoa farmers are supposed to get, which is constitutional, the farmers are not getting it. We have a very bad road network. Aketi, just here, Aketi, a bridge just collapsed. Ask Cocoa Board. How many years are they taking to construct that bridge? How many years are they taking to put up a very good school complex so that our children can get to a better place? Ask Cocoa Board, what are they doing to put up a better hospital within the cocoa catchment area so that at the end of the day, when our wives are in labor, they can get a better place? We have to send them to the big cities and other things, which transport is costing us. And you are talking about 1,300. I think it is peanuts. The 1,300 will not do anything. And the 1,300 will not prevent the smugglers from smuggling their cocoa.
That's the Concerned Farmers Association President Obuadie Nanabuating-Bonsu. Well, former President John Mahama has also in a statement described the increment as woefully inadequate. My colleague James Aveji joins me in studio with more. What exactly is the former president's concern?
Right, Emefa, the former president, in a post on Facebook, wrote that government should have given farmers their fair share of a 46-year record high $3,600 current international FOB cocoa price, but sadly, it has chosen to give them a paltry 1,308 Ghana cedis per bag, which in his estimation constitute a 52.7% of the FOB price. Now he continues that, quote, "It is unfair to our cocoa farmers to have been worse off since the NPP took over the reins of government in 2017, unquote." He said in 2016 his government, in addition to free fertilizer and free cocoa seedlings program, gave cocoa farmers 66.06% of the FOB price. He ended by urging government to cut down on the operational expenses of Cocoa Board to enable it increase the price a bit more for the farmers.
Thank you very much, James Aveji. Good to be back. Now, President Akufo-Addo himself is described as irresponsible and dangerous. Former President Mahama's comments that a future NDC government will pack the judiciary with NDC-aligned judges to balance the composition of the court. John Mahama's assertions followed his belief that the current government has appointed more than 80 NPP-aligned judges in a bid to tilt the decisions of the court in their favor. Listen to John Mahama.
The current president has done. He's appointed the biggest number of judges onto the bench. It's more than 80 towards 100 and counting. He's packed the courts, and we know that they've packed the courts because they want to avoid accountability after they have left office.
And so all manner of people who are known to have been partisans, to have been executives of their party, who are in the legal profession, are being leapfrogged into the superior courts and other places. And so we must be prepared as NDC legal persons to also go onto the bench so that we can balance out, the judicial.
But speaking at the ongoing bar conference in Cape Coast, President Akufo-Addo described these comments as not only irresponsible, but dangerous.
The overwhelming number of justices designate to the Supreme Court, that approval has been given on a bipartisan basis. You can count on the fingers of a hand the number of justices designate whose approval meant less than unanimous consent. I've gone into this matter in some detail because of a new concept that has been recently introduced into our public discourse by no less a public figure than the fourth president of the Fourth Republic, the perennial NDC presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama, who has told the world that I have packed the courts with so-called MPP judges, and that one of the key purposes of a putative NDC victory in 2024 will be to enable him balance the courts with so-called NDC judges. Not only are these concepts of, quote, MPP and, quote, NDC judges new in our public discourse, they are also extremely dangerous and represent the most brazen attack on the independence of the judiciary by an allegedly responsible politician.
Let me take you live to Cape Coast, where legal affairs correspondent Richard Kojunyako is joining us from the bar conference. Richard, let's talk about how the conference actually received these comments from the president.
Well, so Emefa, there were mixed reactions to the president's comment. While some of them cheered the president on, others were simply unperturbed about what the president was saying. In fact, they even refused to clap when the president made those comments. And so the opening conference has ended, and apart from the president, the Attorney General speaking, the President of the Ghana Bar Association, and then the Chief Justice have also been speaking. So that is mainly what has transpired as far as the opening of the conference is concerned.
Well, away from those comments also about the judiciary, President Akufo-Addo has also been touting his government's fight against corruption. According to the president, his government is committed to the fight against graft, citing numerous corruption cases currently before the courts.
At the same time, several officials of the previous Mahama administration, such as William Tevi, Alhaji Salifu Mimina Osman, and Eugene Bafoboni, in the infamous $4 United States million NCA scandal, have been tried and convicted of various corruption-related offenses, and several others, including Dr. Stephen Upuni, the former CEO of Cocoa, and the Honorable Cassiel Akfoso, the minority leader in Parliament, are standing as we speak. None of the accountability institutions of state, even the new Office of Special Prosecutor, have ever indicated any pressure from the executive over their investigations. There are some who refuse to accept the proceeding and have characterized me as a clearing agent. Because for them, the mere allegation without more is enough to merit the nation of the public official.
Well, we'll get reactions subsequently to the comments by President Akufo-Addo. There's more also from the bar conference on myjoyonline.com. Now, the Electoral Commission has been slapped with 2 more suits over its limited voter registration exercise scheduled to start tomorrow. 5 political parties led by the NDC have already filed an action against the exercise and an application for injunction to restrain the EC from proceeding with the announced limited voter registration pending the substantive matter. The parties disagree with the EC's decision to restrict the registration exercise to its district offices. Before we bring you details of the latest suits, though, here's the news desk report.
They are seeking a court order to halt the process until the issues are resolved, with a due date for the hearing of the injunction application to be determined today. Sabejanfi is National Communications Officer of the NDC.
We've been told very strangely this has never happened in the history of this country. It's unheard of. And since when did the Chief Justice take over the duty, the basic responsibility of the registrar of the court? Because giving days for the hearing of matters is the duty of the registrar of the court.
Legal experts like Theodore Albright from the Center for Social Justice view this decision as a potential violation of social justice principles.
It's an offense. An offense of social justice is an offense against individuals being able to exercise their constitutional rights and, in fact, being able to exercise their franchise.
However, Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, Haruna Mohammed, believes engaging with the EC would be the best approach.
It is for us to be able to engage the Electoral Commission to be able to understand and appreciate all these facts that we are putting out.
Well, my colleague Kwekwa Sante, he's on the legal desk, joins us with details of the latest suits against the EC. Kweku, let's talk about these two individuals who have sued the EC and what exactly their demands are.
The first has been filed in the Tema High Court by Aita Precious, an 18-year-old who says the new modalities announced by the EC will make it difficult for her to register. She says in her affidavit that she resides at Ochebleku near Afenya in the Greater Accra region of the Republic of Ghana. That is about 44.3 kilometers from the district office of the Electoral Commission in Pram Pram. That is if you use the Accra Flower Road. And she believes that if the EC is allowed to go ahead with this, it will be difficult for her to go on and register. The second has also been filed in the Hohohoi High Court by Agbenoto Mercy, who actually talks about how far the district office is from her house. She believes that, in fact, if she is to go to the EC district office, she has to go through Togo by road before she can register. And these two applications are all asking the court to ask the EC to decentralize the process.
Well, Kweku, we know that the court is yet to decide the date for the hearing of the interlocutory injunction of the 5 political parties that suit they filed. But has a day been set to hear these new ones? Do we know?
As of this morning, no. The Chief Justice, as we had been told by the NDC, had directed the registrar of the court to hold on with setting the date. This morning, the Chief Justice has been in Cape Coast at the Ghana Bar Conference. We understand no date has been communicated yet, and it is believed that the NDC believe that they have to use other means to try and get the court to hear this matter.
Well, quick, we'll keep checking on that. Thank you. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission says it has no intention of creating additional centres for the limited registration exercise, despite the legal opposition to the programme. The electoral body is targeting some 1.3 million new voters starting tomorrow in their 268 district offices. Deputy Commissioner Dr. Bosman Asari says steps have been taken to capture all eligible voters.
If there is any institution that is committed to ensuring that all eligible Ghanaians register to vote, that will be the Electoral Commission. And what the Electoral Commission is saying is that registration at the district level will achieve our objective of ensuring a very credible register. The UC is an institution of the state. We roll this out. If there are challenges, we'll go back to the drawing board. But currently, the discussions and the analysis we've done, we are very much convinced that Ghanaians who want to register and take part in the district level elections this year, and those who also want to register in 2021, they are already 18. They will come in their numbers to come and register.
Well, Dr. Bosman Asari also says the EC is relying on the provisions of CI 91, which enjoins eligible voters to provide a Ghana card or a Ghanaian passport as proof of citizenship.
Current registration we are doing, we are still using CI 91 and CI 26 as amended. The requirement is the Ghana card, the Ghana passport, and if you don't have the Ghana card, the Ghana passport, either the Ghana card or the Ghana passport. For 2024, the Electoral Commission, when we went to Parliament in this year, the conclusion was that because the National Identification Authority has not been able to register enough people to also register as voters, the conclusion was that they want to see registration, a number of people registered with the Ghana card. And let me say, I think this week we had, was it last week, the NIA has started. So we believe that once the numbers are encouraging from the NIA, the issue will go back and lay the new document.
Well, that's Dr. Bosman Asari, Deputy Commissioner of the EC, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi, on Love 99.5 FM. We're on a number of affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on X Spaces, we're on Facebook, myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is proudly sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. We'll return from the break with sports and then tell you about how a medical student attempted suicide 7 times. We bring that to you as we commemorate Suicide Prevention Day.
I wasn't doing well. People were going far ahead of me, so I wanted to harm myself so that people would see that what I was going through was more painful.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn, e no buff, e no chop, when e vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You no get 1 drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Haja, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor gets water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank gets meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selindion. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe. So say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! That's my boss, Mr. Poncho go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports.
Thank you very much, Emefa. Yeah, not so good for Team Ghana at the African Boxing Olympic qualifiers currently ongoing in Senegal. So far, 6 Ghanaian boxers have been eliminated, including Seth Jima, also known as Freezy McBones. Now, 6 more are still in contention, with 5 in action later today. The Ghana Boxing Federation says all hope is not lost.
The spirits are high. These are boxers that you have the trust in them that at least they can deliver. It's unfortunate those who are out, and we have reasons for the underperforming of those who are out. And we believe that the remaining will go as far as the medal pursuit and then qualify to the Paris 2024. So we still have hopes here. There are hopes and hopes that Team Ghana, will really make it, and then have at least 4 or 3 of them qualifying from this round of qualifiers here at Dakar to Paris 2024.
That's the Ghana Boxing Federation Communications Officer, Jojo Efsen. Back to you, man.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, Chairman of Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee probing the leaked tape alleging conspiracy to remove the IGP has defended the decision to move the hearings in camera. Mr. Atachian says the committee will from tomorrow hear from the police officers who have allegedly already appeared before the committee, and a testimony from the IGP Dampare behind closed doors. Speaking on the probe, the Ibuakwa South MP explained they are overriding national security concerns which cannot be discussed in public.
There is a necessity to fish out and substantiate what is on the tape, which will bring certain matters, which are very serious and might have national security implications. So where in our discretion we believe that, this is for public consumption, why not? And where we think that, if these things should come out, it will hurt national security, we will not have it in the open.
Now, she tracked down an antiseptic solution and ran into oncoming vehicles to truncate her life from her overwhelming academic load and inferiority complex. That's the harrowing story of a 23-year-old medical student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology who survived 7 suicidal attempts. She recounts how it all started in her survival story with Emmanuel Bright Kweku as Ghana joins the world to commemorate Suicide Prevention Day.
I didn't see the good in me. I didn't see my worth. So I said, why don't I just end it?
It all began when she moved from her preclinical studies to the more demanding clinical years at the medical school. The feeling of inferiority and the overwhelming academic load nearly pushed her to end it all. From drinking an antiseptic to running into unsuspecting motorists, Yamansa, as I choose to call her, survived 7 suicide attempts.
School was quite competitive. I wasn't doing well. People were going far ahead of me, so I felt there was no way that I would do as well as they would. And I just kept harboring the feelings and kept growing the feelings of me never going to make it so well. And I drank Dettol. And then also another one was me trying to jump off a balustrade 2 stories down. And then the last one was me overdosing 10 times the dose of one of my routine medications.
Hers was to make people within her circle understand the troubles she endured.
At that point, I just wanted everything to end. I wanted to harm myself also, so that people would see that what I was going through was more painful than what they are seeing. I also just wanted to end things and be free because I was going through too much.
Her story mirrors that of many victims of suicidal attempts across the country, especially tertiary students.
Always try to seek help if you need it. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa. Apawu Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. Many thanks for your company. Have a